Okay, the best thing to do these things and to do the rendering using color pencil, for example, or any other medium, is to do it, and you learn a lot from doing it. We can talk, but I think watching someone is doing it for you will give you a lot of ideas. So here, as you can see, a quick sketch of an interior elevation, and there's some major members, windows and window frame, and a balcony, a chair, and a table. Just to give you an idea, with pencils you have much more flexibility than other media, and you'll find out. So here I'm just doing some glass effect, and it looks like I press on the edge, and you try to leave some white areas in between to suggest some type of glow or something that is associated with glass. As you can see, once you get the hang of it, it's not really that difficult, is it? Is it difficult? Say it. Here I could do the reverse. As you notice, I'm starting from the top down in diagonal, as opposed to from the bottom up. Same effect, but different exercise to your hand and how steady you want to make it. And you're always safe when you use a relatively lighter tone, because it's very easy to go back and maybe emphasize and make the color more saturated. But I don't think it's as easy to do the opposite. When it's dark, it's a bit difficult to make it lighter. But you could try using an eraser, for example, because eraser and color pencil is like normal. But I suggest that you start lighter tone, and then later on, when you finish your entire work, you could go back and, as enhancing elements, you could emphasize certain areas. Like I could maybe make this more bluish, as you can see on the screen, or I could leave it as it is, or I could maybe, with the eraser, I'll show you later how to create some type of glow. So isn't that exciting? You know, half of your drawing is done. You know, voila. So this is something that you could use to your advantage when you have a quick sketch, or you want to do some rendering showing a very fast result. Now I'm gonna shift to another area, and I'm gonna basically assign a light source that of my own creation. Let's say it's coming from this direction on 45 degrees angle, and anything against the light, I would shade it. I would make it a bit dark shadow, so that would make this stick out or stands up, and that would emphasize the depth and would separate the foreground from the background. Again, remember, it's just a symbolic. Some people will argue about, well, can you get the light from the window? Yes, you can, but then also I could argue in return, what are you going to do at night time when there is no natural light coming from the window? So here it's a symbolic thing just to indicate that there is something coming from, light coming from here, and this is blocking the light, and therefore you could just add a simple shadow. Here I'm going to use either the blue, and when I stress it, I could later on add a little bit of gray to it to make it a bit dark. But see that line? and I meant to tell you also that the shading is proportional to the, in this case we do an elevation, it's proportional to the depth of, or the thickness of the piece. So a window frame, of course, would be different from doing a shadow of a piece of furniture in terms of how much shading you put here. As you notice here, I'm just putting a line, nothing really more. And when I do this, you will see the window frame start coming out. This is a sliding window or a sliding door, whatever you want to consider it, and that make it comes out. See that much space I'm leaving on top? You see that white or blue space? I'm using a black pencil to indicate this type of grayness or grayish effect. See, I'm not pressing too hard. I'm just doing a very light type of lines. See, it gives that kind of fuzzy, but associated very well with the type of shading that we're looking for. Same here, like that. And I could also repeat that right in this area. Remember what I said earlier, is you're always safe when it's lighter tone. Okay? Already? Here for this table, I decided to do some kind of yellowish or ochreish combination, and maybe some emphasis of the wood grain with brown. So again, very quickly, finish. Okay, very quickly, finish. Okay, then I flavor it a little bit with some ochreish, you know, and because wood is not necessarily even, so you give that effect. And then I use the brown and just add a little bit of line. See these small lines? Not engraving the line, just a flavor. I hope you understand what I mean. Flavor is just a dab, a touch. I'll zoom in for you so you could see what I meant by that. So if I zoom on this, then you can see what I meant by that line, but you don't really see it from a distance as pronounced as that. So the table is finished. Maybe the side here would be like this. Oh, I'm sorry, the tabletop. Cool. All right. Then again, I'm going to do shading of the legs of the table on this railing, and maybe part of it would go on the glass. All right. So here I assign this area for the leg, and then I'm just gonna make it a bit grayish. See that? Again, I could always darken it, but you have to be a bit patient, because if you try to make it too dark, then it becomes black. If you make it black, it becomes visible. If it becomes visible, then it's going to jump from the background all the way to the foreground, and it's going to create some type of distortion, and you will not be able to really read the drawing very well. But this way here, there's a little bit of movement. Because of the railing, so I also add a little bit on the railing, like this. See that? And here I'm filling again as I did earlier, filling the space that I assigned for shading. To remind you again, the light source coming this way, so therefore everything shifted that way. Like if you're having a carbon copy of this and then you put it on top and you shift it according to the light source, then you get that kind of effect. And if you notice, I'm not making the shading very even. Why? Because it's received on the glass, and the glass is not even, it's semi-translucent, so therefore you should not really emphasize it too much. You follow what I'm saying? Please say yes. Thank you. A little bit of also shading here for the tabletop. Now if I follow the same rules as far as the chair, all what I really needed to do is to imagine that I'm doing a parallel line to this contour of the chair. So that means, because again the light source coming this way and the shadow is shifted accordingly. So I could start with the curve like this from here, and then I go like this, and just slowly but surely you try to mimic, or you try to repeat the curve that you see here, but in a lighter tone of gray. And then that part also, this part also is coming like this way. This part is also this way. So it's parallel line, as you can see. Can you? Alright, and then this part here goes like this, which is this. This leg here is also going like this. It happened this time that the chair is metal or dark color, so you can see dark and dark. But you notice this is not as emphasized as this. Okay, so that gives you the effect of the chair coming at you. Here I'm doing the shading of the vase again, as if I'm repeating the object, and like this, see? Then it doesn't hurt to add a few little touches of maybe flower, and it's very simple really, because all what you need to do is this. See, done. Someone else can say, oh, can you choose another color? Yes, at your request. Here, the leaves, just very quick suggestion, not too much. It gives a little flavor. You see that? Then what about the vase itself? The vase itself, yes, we can, no problem. What color do you have in mind? Let's say this color, any color, green. Then I start the light source coming this way. So this is light, this is medium, and this is dark. Light, medium, dark, because it's a round vase. It goes like this. See my hand? So I start from the back. I would say this is more saturated. See, it's very pronounced. And then I put little weight on lead, so it becomes medium. And then I leave the part on left, because it's hit by the light. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done. So all what you need to do is just put a little bit of emphasis of the shading of the leaves on glass, and after you do that, then you leave it alone. Alright? As I said, it may take you once or twice or 3 times to learn it, but you will never learn unless you practice. Alright? thank you very much, and go back to work. Bye bye.